right away to kind of take down these lobbies as we jump into game number 2. We got lobby A here, Crone.
Here we go. Kurumx leading the charge here. Got first and last game, which, I mean, shout out to Kurumx being able to do this and not, you know, your comfort zone being, you know, displaced, unfortunately, you know, because of the weather there in Florida. Still is going to be starting off here in game number 2 with a bow start, which is, you know, pretty standard, pretty flexible. It allows you to especially go into that Xayah play style, which I think Kurumx is going to be leaning towards. Kurumx is definitely a player that traditionally focuses on playing 1 or 2 comps, gets really good at them, and is able to play them from a lot of different spots. So curious to see how Kurumx, and kind of how everyone else navigates their early game, right? That's going to be the key with how much players are prioritizing the econ. Things like shimmer scales potentially, as Kurumx does get a triple Nasus shop. This is very interesting. Hopefully, you know, maybe we see some orbs come through and drop things like a Volibear and a Jax. We get to see some shimmer scales in all their glory.
Yeah, but also Nasus too just can help with the early win streaking. It's a pretty strong unit at that 2-star for the early game, especially because if you can just pair it with a Leona or a Zac that you grab early on, get that Guardian. He does enough damage in the early game to just shred through a bunch of 1-stars. So do see Kurumx just, of course, pick up that early 2-star and take that. Items, there's potential AP route with Shojin. You know, not a ton of like immediate direction off of these items though.
Yeah, no, they can be pretty flexible. Probably not going to be slamming anything here like Giant Slayer or Shojin. You kind of want to slam it so you have a bit of direction. So I think with that in mind, even though Kurumx has the tier 2 Nasus, will still be okay, I think, to pivot into a bit of just a econ focused early game if he doesn't hit any more, you know, upgrades, which there is one Skarner there and a Yone could Mirage, but the Mirage is the Executioners, I believe. So
yeah, it was
no pirates. Yeah, no pirates to farm up that gold as we get our first augment phase, just silver tier, but Celestial Blessing one that you don't really, you know, not gonna be sad to see, but Knife's Edge really provides that more of a solid direction there, but then item grab bag rounding it out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a player who can like item grab bag, just getting that early advantage, and we do see Kurumx go that direction. Gunblade's probably not your favorite thing to see.
No, not right now, at least.
Not that good of an early game item, and a lot of times it's just not really fitting into the meta from what I've seen. I feel like a lot of players are kind of shying away from Gunblades right now. Another side note I just want to call out, Nomsy is Cannoneer, so we're probably not looking at any Nomsy compositions, as it just hasn't been the variation of Nomsy that's been heavily in the meta right now.
Yeah, Mage Nomsy, if that is in a game, definitely going to be seeing 1, honestly, maybe even 2+ players running that. It can be really, really strong. Kurumx is choosing to go for a win streak early game, probably off the, you know, back of having these, a lot of synergies to run with right now, right? 2 Warrior, 2 Guardian, 2 Mirage, but more importantly, the Nasus 2 frontline and the item grab bag, right? It's a lot of early game power. Having the Executioner's Edge as well, just with Yone having these 2 items, going to be a bit more than, you know, some players might expect to deal with right now, as Kyivix takes out Setsuko in that round. Okay. Having a 4 Dragonmancer opener is not one that most players might run, but Kyivix is certainly not most players.
I was gonna say, that's a really interesting start. I mean, that has good potential to win streak, right? You've got your Lee Sin with the TR as well. Very strong early unit to put in, especially because 4 Dragonmancer is just so much HP to chew through this early in the game. Like, it's just a lot of HP. It's just hard to kill this Lee Sin, and he's going to be doing plenty of damage.
God, this already is such a huge smile on my face. I just love watching Kyivix play Teamfight Tactics. Kyivix, I will sing his praises probably until the end of time, just because they approach TFT so differently than everybody else. Kyivix is the player who, I believe it was set 6 mid set, won it by just picking any like 2-3 cost units and re-rolling them. And Kyivix has already done some of that in days 1 and 2 of the Dragon Cup, right? I think had like some random re-roll like Zac plus something else. I don't remember what it was offhand, but still, just Kyivix plays a beautiful game of TFT, and we're seeing it already here in game 2 of this day. 4 Dragonmancer, it's winning rounds on a 2 streak. How far can it keep going though, Cass? I think that's really my question here. He's gonna level to 5 next round, maybe picked up a Kiana, so might be able to run 2 Tempest.
Yeah, I would love to see that, not only because you get the 2 Tempest in, but pushing the quick levels when you have things like the Lee Sin and the Volibear in. If you ever 2-star one of those early on, going into stage 3, you can continue your win streak really well. So I would like to see Kyivix push levels. There was something really interesting that we just saw there playing up against Phoenix. Picking consistency. This is an augment I really like, but it's very hard to use, and the best way to use it to be consistent is to lose streak. And we saw Phoenix essentially open forwarding with those 2 Ezreals and 1 Sejuani. They're going to be very rich, and it's going to be important to see how their pivot and transition happens when they use all that money that they're going to be collecting. Consistency, of course, doubles your streak bonuses. So when you get to those big loss streaks, it's an insane amount of cash flow that you're getting into your pocket.
Like 6 gold a turn when those streaks are doubled and you get to 5. It is absolutely crazy. Kind of akin to players like taking like AFK or something. You're going to be making sure you're going on a loss streak, although AFK, so maybe sometimes you can go on a bit of win streak if you have an insane first couple of PvE rounds. Seeing Kyivix, however, maybe starting to lose the streak if this Kai'Sa is able to survive the Lee Sin kick. Can't you heal back up enough with the Gunblade? A close round, but no, it will be Kyivix maintaining the streak for now, which is nice, and didn't even have to push levels. Just making 10 gold. Kyivix is a much better spot, at least, than last game, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Kyivix had a very rough start. We saw them almost salvage it, but still ended up with an 8th. And so that's why even with an 8th in round 1, we're still very high on Kyivix. We've been watching them leading up into this tournament, and he's been playing fantastic. So cool to see kind of the reverse here of having a very good early game, and we'll see if Kyivix can execute on that as we move forward. But taking a look at the augments, Kron, we do have a lot of item grab back, a lot of generics with this silver augment round, and I did point out already consistency, because that was the one that really stood out to me.
Oh, definitely. I think even with these the consistency being the one that stands out in terms of economy focus, there's only one other one that stands out, and that is a weak spot from covertsloth is going to, you know, make it a lot more tempting to go into AD tree, right? Because you're shredding armor, but everything else can kind of go still into whatever comp. It's not really committal in terms of, you know, AD or AP trees or any specific variant there. As we move on over to Soju, who did take Celestial Blessing, is going to slam a Hodge here. Soju always seems to get Astrals on 2-1 and play this kind of pseudo open fort play style, making sure to make econ every breakpoint, not level up unless he has such an insane opener. Kyivix, on the other hand, is going to be happy to see this matchup because it's going to continue the streak. Slammed the Bloodthirster on the Lee Sin as well. Could have waited to slam that, I think, until he saw the matchup, but surely can use BT kind of no matter what direction he goes. Soju does unfortunately take a full 5-0 loss, but that's kind of okay.
Yeah, I mean, he is very rich. He's at 30 gold already, and on that loss streak, going to be moving towards Kurumx with a very, very nice purse to start pushing levels, start kind of transitioning this board. But that has been the style that we've seen Soju playing, mostly Astrals, loose streaking early, trying to make those big pivots later on. But yeah, this is a board I did want to check out eventually, was how Phoenix decided to sacrifice. And this is a stage 2 Olaf. I don't know when it was found. I don't think it was 2-1 because we did see that fight early on. But stage 2 is early enough to play this composition, and loose streaking would have you very rich for your rerolling. So this is I'm curious if Phoenix actually goes this direction.
Yeah, we do get word that Olaf only has 1 death stack, so only played it that last round, right after the carousel. It does end up selling it. So.
Get out of there. One at the end of stage 2 is not enough, I don't think. I just don't think that's good enough.
Maybe if it was there like 2-2, 2-3. And honestly, I think there is an argument for Olaf, even at that point, but it still is going to be mostly augment dependent at that point. Running consistency is a great econ augment, but Olaf really finds success, I think, when you're able to get those nice combat augments online, things like base camp, personal training, some things like that, that really, you know, one, give you the Olaf, and two, just let you have that much more power in terms of just, you know, that fight in power level. But moving on over, seeing where everybody's at. 66 gold on Kurumx is absolutely massive.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, the only time I've had this much money, I think I sent you a screenshot. I was playing Rich Get Richer, and I had like 70 gold at the start of Kurumx, which, you know, this is essentially that, right? Like 66 is as close as it gets there. You don't have Rich Get Richer, so you don't get that extra bonus, but you get even more, bonus, actually, with consistency and the loss streak bonus. So, this is I would say this is a very good consistency spot for Phoenix. It's hard to not lose this much HP because you need to guarantee your loss streak. It's so doomed if you take that full augment and you screw up your loss streak. It really can just throw the entire game away because you basically are playing without an augment. So this is really well done from Phoenix. And just from where do we go from here? Are we going to see, you know, spend a lot of gold to try and flip this into a win streak in stage 3? That's kind of the big question I have.
There really is an interesting comparison between rich get richer and like consistency, because with rich get richer, it's okay to, you know, win some rounds. You're not like, you know, giving up the whole augment's power if you happen to, you know, go win loss. But consistency is going to be net more gold, but you're just sacrificing HP. You know, Phoenix is essentially open forward and played 3 out of 4 units in that round that we saw, to make sure that you get that. So Phoenix will be pressured to maybe roll down a bit earlier, maybe have the gold to roll down, say at level 8 on 4-2, as most players will want to greed till 4-5, but maybe be pressured to roll down level 7. That's where we're going to start to see the separation in the lobby of who is too low, who feels the panic, and who goes in on that, you know, spending gold a little bit too early.
Yeah, it really rewards you for rubber banding though, which is, I think, super important if you can pull it off correctly, right? Like a full loss streak into a full win streak gives you so much money. So it's definitely Phoenix is a player I'll want to have our eyes back on eventually when they do go for that full pivot. But we are checking in with Setsuko here, who is pretty low on HP as well. I think they were just on an electro charge, so just trying to help with some of their early power.
Definitely. Curious just to see where Setsuko goes. Well, first for this augment choice.
Yeah, I mean, Axiom, easy AP direction.
Pandora's Second Wind. Running Astros right now. Not super committal. Has electro charge. Both augments. Yeah, Second Wind as well.
So
it does have the Rage Blade,
Rage Blade Sam.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I was thinking, you know, you have this Lux 2. I didn't see what items Setsuko had. There's definitely an argument to just go Axiom, commit to the AP tree, use your Lux as an item carrier in the mid game, and just try and run it out with that. But seeing as how you've got Rage Blade with a crit glove slammed on an Ezreal right now, kind of item carrying for that Xayah later on. Or Zyra could be a Zyra as well. So
that's true. Has the Silas already. Although it's just for the Bruiser right now, but Silas, fantastic unit, does fit into the Whisper composition very well. Only a Rage Blade means that it definitely can be a Xayah, not super committed to a Zyra or anything at this point. And isn't that rich though, I think is the concern. Is level 6 and 3-2, but only having, you know, barely 30 gold is not the spot that you want to be at, especially being as low as Setsuko is. Generally, if you are, you know, this low, maybe not Phoenix low, like 47 HP, you're going to want to have at least like 10 more gold, hopefully 20 gold at this point. And Setsuko is still losing the Jax. Okay, that Jax does fall, it's only a 4-unit loss, but still, right? That's a little bit too much at that point. Does afford to run into Soju, who's level 7 at 3-2, by the way. That's all that extra gold coming out there. Yeah.
He's got HP, unless that was a Tiny Titans, which it was not. Yeah, it's an electric charge for Soju. So he just has that much HP and that much gold. He's in a very good position.
Yeah, kind of crazy.
Being level 7. He still had 10 gold too. It wasn't like he had just fully spent everything to go to 7 there.
No, his spot's actually really insane. 82 HP, very high, able to go level 7, still a lot of gold. Soju should be able to translate this into a good finish, but see what happens when he forces roll it down later. Kurumx is win streaking again. I think he was win streaking sort of last game as well, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Kurumx just cracked when it comes to these openers, maybe abusing the fact that everyone really does in this meta try to play for loss streaks, try to play for econ, but Kurumx is just able to, you know, with these unorthodox boards, like he was playing for Guardian, he played around the Yone in that Nasus 2 he found in the early game and is doing it so phenomenally. I'm really impressed by that play.
Yeah, it's working great for him. I mean, we're jumping on here with BBEAR, another player that's kind of stuck on level 6. Gonna start to move towards the level 7 soon, which is more normal at this time, but it's funny to say that because we see, you know, Soju level 7, we see a lot of people who are so rich in this lobby that, you know, being at the bottom of level 6 on 3-4 feels bad, and that's not normal. That's not exactly what you're gonna see most of the time.
Oh, Xayah with a sword on carousel, Graves with the chain. Usually on carousel, right, you're gonna go for the items, but sometimes these 4 costs that are very pivotal for your composition can kind of bail you out. Phoenix goes for the Xayah with the sword. I wonder if that's going to be the kind of pivot point there. They have consistency and second wind, so still generic augments can go whatever direction. Kurumx, last pick, still able to get the Graves with the chain vest there.
Yeah, Phoenix, I mean, I think we're going to take their perspective here is this is probably, 90 gold. It's go time. It is go time. 90 gold. We've got the Xayah now. We can start to build out a composition and rubber band this loss streak into a win streak. That is the big thing that we need to see from Phoenix. Only leveled up, still keeping 50 gold, being a little bit slow on the roll down. Though only 10 seconds right now. Looks like maybe no rolling to be done.
No, that's so interesting. I think generally a lot of players would feel the pressure right now. You're 20 HP below 7th. This board with Zippy 1 having an item carrier Ezreal with only a rune hands and a bow, this is not strong. But Phoenix is going to say, screw it. I'm going to go maybe, a couple more losses, roll it down at level 8, 4-1 or 4-2. And if Phoenix gets lucky, finds a Shyvana, finds a Xayah 2, this could turn all the way around and net a top 4. And even is going to win this round as well versus BBEAR, because BBEAR is to level 6, didn't spend a lot of their gold either. So Phoenix is actually in a really great spot here. I'll hesitate to say great, but at least a good spot at the minimum. And I think with that round win, it's going to be feeling a lot more comfortable going into Wolves and going to level 8, fast 8 in stage 4.
Yep, maybe looking for that fast 8, but then gonna have to spend that money, make that board a lot stronger, because 37
really
HP
want to see that roll down
is really tough. But we're going over to Connerisme. They were actually playing Xiao Yu in game 1. All the way up into a 4 dragon board endgame. So a very creative play out of Connerisme. They greeted out that board a lot. So I'm interested to see now in a different position where they're not win streaking the entire time, how they play this one out. Looking over at a Kaisa with some very solid items for the mid game at the very least, with that Gunblade, Ginsu's, and the Morella Nomicon.
Yeah, some fantastic Kais items to just, stabilize. Maybe not win all the rounds as we see at the top, right? Win, loss, which is kind of unfortunate, but still. Not taking all losses as fine. The Econ's in an okay point, and these items can be great for Lagoons, which we're already stacking up the Lagoons. Already at 105 stacks. Going to be farming some components, some extra gold to really get you back in the game there. As wow, Kyivix's Lee Sin 1 is still out here farming, and Kyivix still at 90 HP with that opener.
Yeah, good unit. I'm surprised he hasn't hit a Lee Sin 2 at this point though, but I guess he hasn't really rolled much, more looking for the level ups at that point. Phoenix, we gotta, I know we're just fishing for this roll down. We're like waiting for this to happen, and I appreciate our observers giving it to us, because I know like you and I really want to see like, how does Phoenix transition to a full win streak here, because they have so much money.
Yeah, and is it going to be 4-1 or 4-2? I would think with winning the last 2 rounds, it has to be 4-2, right? If they lost the last 2 rounds, they might be pressured to do it at 4-1. They have a ton of gold. I think they can sack this next round. It's fine. Zippy too.
Here we go. Well, I was about to say that the other argument for the other side, Crone, is because you're running consistency, you want to you don't want to lose that round, right?
Yeah.
You want to recover your wins, recoup all your gold with consistency giving you that gold back through the win streak. But I mean, maybe they go too early. They don't have enough gold to make a really strong board is the other possible outcome of this, right?
Hecarim 2, Zippy 2, running a Soraka to recoup some HP as well. Not great Xayah items yet, but I think this matchup is going to be definitely a winnable one. And Kurumx, who has not rolled yet, is still 100 HP. At Wolves, level 7. Ooh, okay, Phoenix does slam the Giant Slayer, actually, which is gonna make it so that you probably can't get a Rage Blade until the Treasure Dragon round. This Zippy too, though, like, this is the stage of the game where Zippy absolutely shines. Tier 2 Zippy right now can just be assassinating units, is a bit too tanky to deal with. Starting in, like, midway through stage 5, maybe even early stage 5, Zippy will fall off a little bit, but right now is perfect time to get that consistency value, as you were talking about, turn that loss streak into a full win streak. But if Phoenix does lose any of these rounds, it's going to halt that economy of progress so much. Rolls,
quick reroll already has second win.
Thrill. All of these are solid options, I think, actually. But is it going to be CB, just the generic good one? Finds a Bard as well to put in for 6 guild.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good spot. I think this can win streak, but the Xayah 2 is kind of the crux, right? If you find the Xayah 2, you're in a really solid spot. Obviously, we want Shyvana, but yeah, I think we're in a good spot. Yeah, there it is. Too. All right, sweet. I mean, this should be a good stage 4 win streak to recoup all this money for Phoenix. And if that is able to be executed, if that happens, right? No positioning faux pas or anything like that, we're in good shape. We're in really good shape.
I would actually think I like to see this Bard run over the Yasuo right now. Sure, Yasuo's a little bit of extra damage, a little bit of CC, but if you hit that Xayah too, I think it might be enough damage. The items aren't amazing, but they're still good. They're workable. And Soju has hit the Shyvana lottery, went level 8 on 4-2, which Soju, and this is not really in typical Soju fashion. Typically, Soju would greed out until 4-5 and roll then, but maybe saw that was being contested, wanted to find the Shyvanas before they're all out of the pool. Same with the Xayahs, but Soju unfortunately does not have the Xayah 2 yet, and because of that, Phoenixaa is able to ride that streak and keep it going. 4 right now, so consistency value plus 4 gold extra econ per turn. This is consistency value at its peak right now. Like, if you want to learn how to play around the augment, just look at Phoenixaa's game from start to finish here, I think.
Yeah, I mean, an absolute clinic on how to play consistency. The open 4 into the big roll down, looking for that turnaround. Really, really well done. We got a Tactician's Crown for Connerisme. That's something we'll have to check in with eventually here to see, you know, what compositions Connor is able to build with having that extra unit slot. But we have a Whispers board for covertsloth, Zyra with a Ginsu and a Giant Slayer, and already having some healing items on the Pantheon. Probably wants one big tanky item on top of those.
Yeah, definitely. The only unfortunate thing about this board is that it is mostly 1-star front lines between Sylas, Siphon, and Pantheon, but they have a decent amount of gold to work with, and honestly, just a Zyra 2 at this point can kind of solo carry some rounds, it feels like. Sure, the 6 Whisper buff providing a bit of a benefit, a bit being an understatement there. Has a bow already on the bench. Gonna want to get into that Runaan's Hurricane very soon, and yeah, that's gonna be an easy round win thanks to the Zyra. 4 Bruiser as well. Nice for this board.
A big note, because the 4 Bruiser, that's going to help those 1-stars be tankier, but also Terrify as one of the augment options there, I think is huge for kind of patching up this weak front line by reducing the damage of the other side.
Yeah, 15% less damage from enemies, you know, that get hit by Whispered champions. So that's going to be nice, being as you're running so many Whispers, right? The Siphon dashing through everything's going to be able to hit it. The Zyra hitting the, you know, massive CC and just casting on all of your backline. Although players are very used to right now positioning against Zyra, typically with those Xayahs being the only thing in the backline and having like your Bard, your Twitch in the 3rd row instead. So that all these Xayah compositions, excuse me, are going to, you know, have the Xayah still outputting maximum damage until later on into the fight.
All right, BBEAR with a Lee Sin. We got a JG IE setup for a Lee Sin composition.
Yeah, one off of Lee Sin 3, one off of VBEAR 3 as well. As roll all the way down is not hit. This is kind of tragic, unfortunately. Doesn't have a healing item for Lee Sin either. I mean, I guess has double thrill.
I think double thrill's enough, but maybe you just need to put more damage on this Lee, like
death cap.
That's what I was thinking, but I don't know. That feels so weird.
Oh man,
like, it feels like that can't be right, but also I'm like, I don't know, you got no health, like you gotta try something, right?
Double thrill, go for it, right?
Yeah, it would have killed that Jace. It would have killed that Jace. He would have got a reset. I don't know if he wins the round, but is he just dead now? Yeah, he's dead. He wouldn't have died.
Actually would have survived, I think, with the decap slam. Maybe that's the thing about tournaments, right? You can't always just play for first in tournaments. You got to play for just sometimes not 8th. You got to play for just those single placement points, because that's the difference when you getting into day 4 or going out in day 3 with like a tiebreaker or something. Would have loved to see that played a little bit differently. Unfortunate that, you know, you're 1 away from VBEAR 3 and Lee Sin 3, but you still have to be, you know, using every single thing you have, every component, making sure you just don't go away. Sometimes it's not worth it to do that, but I think this is one of the cases where it certainly was worth it to play like that.
Yeah, have to play to your outs, right? I mean, the out there is to live 1 more round and hit your Volley 3, hit your Lee 3, right? And then potentially you can play for like a 6th or a 5th, or maybe, you know, if you're really lucky at that point, you can make top 4 with getting both 3 stars potentially. But yeah, unfortunate to lose there. And of course, it's easy to say from my position of like looking over the shoulder and being like, yeah, if you built a death cap, it would have killed that Jace and then you'd heal with Thrill. But like, still, you have to be thinking about every way that you can come back in.
That is true. Setsuko going to be on the elimination point here with the Whisper composition. Only has 1 item on the Zyra though, and only has a Pantheon 1. Might be saying goodbye to Setsuko after this round. Som on the other side. Another cast comes through. Oh yeah, there goes the Zyra. Although, can Pantheon do it? Wait a minute. I think he can. Yeah.
I think he's got it. Okay. Holding on.
Hold on,
Holding
one
on.
more round. Being level 7, 0 gold, going Treasure Dragon round. Bit of an oof, though.
That Treasure Dragon was crazy for Connor, by the way.
Yeah.
Whoa, what is this?
100 gold for Connor? Do you take this?
I don't know. I've never seen this before.
I've also never seen this. Waiting long to just
okay.
taste it.
You just
Oh
took
my god. 153.
Mordog, what is that? What is that, Mordog?
153 gold in the bank for Connor right now. Lowest 8. Surely you hit everything that you want right here, right?
The funniest thing is, like, obviously you roll here, right? But
Yeah.
Connor had enough gold to just go to level 9. He could have just gone to level 9. Like, of course you have to roll. You need the Sohm 2. You need to try and look for more upgrades. But it's just funny that that was an option. Like, that was something you could have done.
This is fantastic. I also have never seen that option before until now. Mordog, you sly person. I didn't. This is fantastic. I think this is Connor stayed on that option for so long before picking it, right? Because surely you have to be like, oh, what's the value of doing that and almost guaranteed hitting the Sohm 2, hitting other upgrades, right? Maybe hit a bunch of Zoes, or just getting a really good third item for the Sohm, because that could have happened, right? There was the potential for, I think it was a Radiant Jeweled Gauntlet.
Yeah, we saw that.
That he passed up. And I think this is just probably going to be better. It is saving up enough gold now to go level 9 in just a couple of rounds. Play, what, 9 Lagoon potentially? 7 Mage perhaps? Farming more gold here with the Lagoon stacking?
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting because that was, you know, the JG, the Radiant JG plus... Oh, A's dead. It was Radiant JG plus 40 gold, and I'm curious if you take that and roll down for Sohm 2 if that's better, but this was still an interesting spot. Never seen 100 gold out of the Treasure Dragon. That's kind of... That's awesome. That's really cool to see.
Yeah, less cool to die with 70 gold in the bank, though.
It is. Yeah, definitely less cool.
I was so hyped. I like really wasn't. I was like, okay, what can this mean for Connor's game? I wasn't even thinking about the possibility of death, but yeah, it was low HP, and Connor still gets a 6 there, I guess, in that game. Setsuko is going to be out in 7th, but I believe Setsuko is one of the players already qualified for the regional finals, so not so much pressure there for Setsuko in this tournament. Still want to have a good result, though, right? That's always going to be a bit of a confidence booster, a bit of a prizing, you know, always want as a TFT player.
Well, it's really funny, too, because we always talk about people's APM on, like, a 60 gold roll down, a 70 gold roll down. How do you, like, quantify a player's skill on a 150 gold roll down? How does it...
Just be a zoomer and keep pressing the D key, pull some DQ energy maybe. DQ is one of the best players, I think, at rolling down large amounts of gold very quickly. I sympathize with Connor, though. I think in that spot, rolling down until you hit Sohm 2, your front line was still okay. Yeah. Like, there's not much more you really want to do there, and unless, you know, it's going 9.
He probably wanted to go to 9.
Yeah, calculated risk, and unfortunately, it just didn't pay off there. But now I get to see how other players are doing.
Look at Phoenix.
At stage 5, Phoenix has gone to level 9, hit a Shyvana, hit Xayah too.
Yeah, it looks like they had 1 loss in between their streak, but they've been streaking other than that since the last time we looked. At 40 health, they healed up a bit with the Soraka. We see they're on a 2 streak, which means at some point they lost 1. But
that's fine.
Very, very good position. At this point, you don't care about your silver augment consistency. It's not as important anymore. You're just trying to win the game. All the value was already gleaned from that, as we're level 9 with 40 HP. I mean, that's such an amazing spot from where we dropped the 40 HP like initially on the loss streak.
Yeah. Covert ended up going 5th. There's a lot of HP still left from these remaining players. Kurumx still being in first place. Soju having a fantastic game as well. Top 4ing 63 HP on a win streak as well. Kyivix gets a top 4. Saves my fantasy draft a little bit. Thank you, Kyivix. Get a chance to take a look at everyone's third augments as well, though. See some interesting options. There's going to be, you know, Ascension for Kurumx. Fantastic augment. Remember Ascension back in the day was like a silver augment? I think it was like 75 or 100% damage increase. And now it's gold and only 50%. Yeah.
Still good. Still good.
Still very good, in fact.
Yep.
especially because a lot of these fights last for so long. You think about things like, you know, what's your frontline quality going to be? All the CC that comes out, say even like with the Xayah composition, all the stalling that happens, it can pretty much always allow your Shyvana and your Xayah to get to that ascension point and just be dealing tons of damage. Same thing with things like this Itis providing a fantastic frontline for the Deja, and Sohm benefits from that a lot as well. Just so many good compositions that benefit from the ascension augment right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's great for Kurumx, right? He's got the frontline Itis, but also has Soraka and Deja with a Gunblade as the backline. So there's a lot of sustain, a lot of healing, a lot of time being bought. And yeah, you'd hope that with all that, your comp's staying alive and you'd kill them faster. But this is a Deja 1, so she needs a little bit more help. And I think Ascension might be enough to do that. Probably not in this fight against... ooh, maybe so. That's a lot of damage from this Deja. It just came out from those wins. But I think the positioning here... Oh, maybe?
Oh, almost
wow, actually gonna win this fight. That's crazy. I thought this was definitely going the other way.
Yeah, this is such a good recognition from Kurumx to say, how do I need to spend my gold? Because Kurumx was level 9 on 40 gold, pair of Dejas, but is honestly probably waiting for Kyivix to be eliminated. So that's 3 Dejas back in the pool. Such discipline from Kurumx. You really want to see that out of like veteran experienced players, and Kurumx is that, right? Is one of the old guard, the greats of NA TFT, and is playing absolutely phenomenally right now.
Yeah, now Kyivix is about to run into Phoenix, who just hit a Shyvana too. I don't know if Kyivix comp is going to be able to handle the Shyvana to Xayah 2. I mean, this is just a very, very stacked board. It's not fully capped yet, but it's pretty strong.
Shyvana 2, Death Cap, Ionic. Only thing better than a Sunfire right now would be the Morellos that people love to run. Still, perhaps winning this fight, however. It is a Radiant Death Cap on the Deja. It's so much damage coming through. Can it cast one more time?
One more cast. It does cast. Oh, it's not enough damage.
That was a bit of a letdown.
It was. It really felt like that was going to do a lot more than it did.
Yeah. I guess this Executioner is not like Spell Sword or something. With Spell Sword, it probably would have been, but...
I think we got spoiled by Kurum's Deja with the...
I know, Archangels.
The Archangels and the Giant Slayer also giving that percent, so it's like constantly scaling on top of the Ascension as well. It's...
Yeah. Sorry, Deja. We had too high expectations for you. Yeah. Our bad.
Because it was a Deja 2 as well, versus Deja 1. It was like, that has to... Surely this will kill.
Kurum's pivot is going to be a thing of wonders here. He's going to, I would assume, run 4 dragons. There is an Ao Shin in the shop, but probably is going to want a Terra here with these items. Oh, it does put them on the Itis, though. Is running Deja, Itis, and Shyvana currently. Does end up buying the Ao Shin.
There's a Terra.
There's a Terra. There's
also the Deja 2.
Yeah.
Yep, here we go.
Terra goes in. This is fantastic because it allows your Itis to be super tanky, and it allows your Shyvana, even though she's going to be placed in the back row to get that damage reduction from Terra's Monolith, she walks up, autos once, casts. Will Kurumx do that though? Will Kurumx put the Shyvana in the back row? Doesn't need to, I guess.
Just going...
Yeah, still back rows, but just
not
for fun. Yeah, not the tankiness. It's fine. Well,
this Deja spot is a little bit... Well, it's going to be fine in this fight, it looks like, but it also doesn't necessarily guarantee you're always going to hit those like bigger sweeps with the wins. Yeah. This one did work out with the positioning, and I mean, Kurumx just destroys Kyivix's board.
Yeah. More Dejas back in the pool. Could we see, like, with this kind of gold that Kurumx has, we could be seeing something like a Deja 3. Still a long way out.
Yeah.
But Soju is still streaking. 9 streak, I think that was right there. Oh, Shyvana 2 with these items is huge. I think Kurumx isn't going to be wanting to roll down that much because of the Goldmancer's value and having extra gold.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be able to 2-star all these dragons. The Terra, he's one away. He even almost has an Ao Shin 2. Is that goes in for Deja if you get that 2-star with these items? You think? Yeah, I think so too.
Probably. Soju still running Zippy in this board. Zippy and Shyvana. Shyvana only being tier 1, but his board's still so strong. That's just the power of, Xayah and what this board can do. The Jace, all the CC that comes through. The utility of this composition is just so phenomenal. It is going to be a mirror matchup here.
All right. Looks like Phoenix still has their Shyvana a lot healthier than Soju's. Xayah almost clutches that one out, but
Yeah.
Phoenix gonna stay alive a little bit longer. A lot of HP to overcome for Phoenix though. Soju and Kurum both over 50.
Yeah, turns out Shyvana 2 is a bit better than Shyvana 1, and both the other players that Soju's facing have Shyvana 2, so maybe Soju's waiting till 1 gets eliminated, then he's gonna roll down for the Shyvana 2. Hopefully hits at that point. Kurum now on a pair of Terras, pair of Aoshins.
Jace
As the Jace, yeah, for the Shapeshifter for Shyvana, I mean, it's almost necessary, it feels like, and just a good unit in general.
Yeah, it was over. The interesting for me, right, is because it goes in over Rakan 2, and Rakan is giving the 4 Rage Wing, which it just gives Omnivamp. I guess it's not, the attack speed doesn't matter as much for the Shyvana. Yeah. And then you also lose Guardian, so you actually lose a fair bit of tankiness because that Itis has so much HP, but...
Yeah, and just Rakan utility, very good, just generally. But seems to be worth it right now.
Yep. Still working, still winning the rounds. And I can see how it would be worth, right? Because Shapeshifter is so much HP that you are getting, and Jace gives some crowd control. But you get crowd control from the Rakan as well, so it's kind of similar in that vein. Yeah. I'm not convinced on either way which one I kind of like better, but it is something that must be a relatively tough decision to kind of think between those two.
Gets guild as well, which, you know, can't discount the guild value of
those. Of course, you're still
one member of the guild.
AP, right? Yeah. So.
Kurum, 44 gold in the bank. Gets he Titans in that carousel. Is going to roll down. Really wants to find some upgrade. Finds a Terra 2. Pretty big. Finds the Titans for it.
Yasuo 2 would be big as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, still doesn't hit that Yasuo upgrade, unfortunately. Nor the Jace. Going to be running into Soju this next matchup.
Yeah. Honestly, though, Kurum looking so good for back-to-back firsts to kick off the day.
Yeah, I mean, even if he doesn't go back-to-back first, still, this is just insane. Being able to, I mean, pretty much guaranteed top 2 at the least, but Kurum is just playing so well right now. You can tell if Kurum is feeling a patch, is playing so well, and is very dominant, and especially being dominant here already in day 3 of the Dragon Cup, and it's gonna be taking out Soju in that round.
This has got to be a first. Like, there's still
looking like
he can still cap his board further. Like, he's not even, you know, the full strength, and Phoenix is gonna go down.
Yep.
Soju versus Kurum, heads up, but Kurum still has Jace 2, Yasuo 2 to hit. Could even hit Aoshin 2 to replace the Deja.
Yeah, is rolling. Does make the Shyvana a little bit weaker. Oh, now he's making an actual decision here.
Now he has to actually choose, because the Mirage, you would lose that Mirage. You are getting to play 4 Mirage right now.
Yep.
You'd be swapping that out for just 3 Tempest, which isn't a breakpoint.
I mean, you have to think with Kurum holding the Aoshins for as long as he has, right? Surely you pick it up. Otherwise, he's just kind of losing Goldmancer's value. But nope, doesn't pick it up. Just holding them for fun.
Probably was just like kind of blindly thinking that, like, of course Aoshin is better, and then finally has the option, and now you're actually thinking, rounds. Is this better, right?
Yeah, he doesn't have to make any decisions, right? He's already winning. Why change anything up if it's working? So if he loses, maybe can then consider the pivot, but it looks like this is still going to be a win. Xayah goes down, and that's going to be Soju going out, and Kurum winning game 2 in Lobby A with over 50 HP, going back-to-back first places. Yeah, what a valuable third pick of